So Hamilton is another sort of love of mine, the musical Hamilton. And they are rough on one another, right? Across their disagreements, Hamilton and Jefferson spit on one another. They crank up the rhetoric to high levels, but they stay at the table, right? They stay at the table, and what results is the American experiment. And I think if I were boiling down our current problem, we just don't stay at the table. We have contempt enough for one another across political lines and other lines, by the way, racial lines that are related to politics, all kinds of lines, where we exercise contempt for people we don't even know. And that keeps us, there's an MLK quote that I just ran into recently. It comes from 1963. I don't think many people know it. He was speaking at a tiny college in Iowa, and he said these words to them: "I am convinced that men hate each other because they fear each other. And they fear each other because they don't know each other. And they don't know each other because they don't communicate with each other. And they don't communicate with each other because they're separated from each other." Right? And that's MLK speaking this language, right? And I think what he was seeing is what I see all over the place. I had a weekend that kind of epitomizes, or a week in 2018, I think. I was in Florida working with the sort of tall steepled churches leaders in the United Church of Christ, which is the most liberal of the mainline churches.
Right.
That was Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I was in St. Louis working with Missouri Synod Lutheran tall steepled pastors, and that's one of the more conservative of the denominations we're on the board. And both experiences were terrific for me, and both of them sort of wanted to get to a solution to what ails American culture, but they didn't know each other. And so they had preconceived ideas about one another. And I came away thinking, all I need to do is have a retreat with all of these people in the same spot. And of course, they wouldn't sign up for that. Right? Because they're way out on other ends of the spectrum, and they had a lot in common that they wouldn't have known. So that's, I think that epitomizes our distance from one another as people in a nation that has increasingly come a part of this at the scene. Right? We don't cross bridges to get to one another. We don't go out of our way to get to one another, and our sort of migratory patterns and our news patterns and all those things keep us from ever knowing each other.